patriot. Should we say that? But he will correct me on that. And let's welcome our guest this morning as we continue our series on our success story. And let's welcome Professor Anselm Labor. He is a professor at Seton Hall University, teaching undergrad students in global business, organizational behavior, and business management. He worked on Wall Street or the New York Stock Exchange for 23 years. He's president and CEO of radio station WZYE 95.9 FM in New Jersey. He's president and CEO of the Runners Development Academy. Stop me at Wall Street because I will give you all... the accolades are so large. You have a long... And good morning and welcome, my friend.
Brother B, let me say a special good morning to you and a special good morning to all the people out there in Tobago. Brother B, I must say that this program you have here on Tobago Channel 5 is a fantabulous, splendiferous program. And Tobago is basically leading the way, Brother B.
Thank you. All right, let's get into, I want you to tell us who you are, where you came from, and then we'll get to where you are and how you got there. Let's start, Chumakak Laventil, surviving all the challenges of what a young person would go through at the time you were a child. Let's take it from there.
So Brother B, I spent most of my formative years in Laventil. It's either Chumakak Laventil or Snake Valley Laventil. And before I go on, Brother B, let me say a special hello to my father, Samuel Lee, born there in Roxbow, Tobago, as well as my stepmother, Clarice LeBon, my brother Sean, and all my other families there in Tobago. Let me say a special good morning to all of you. You know, Daddy, you have had a success story in one of your sons,
right.
You know, Anselm Wall Street LeBon. So, Brother B, you know, we grew up in Chumakak Laventil. It was myself and my 4 other siblings there in Chumakak Laventil. And it was never easy for us growing up in Chumakak Laventil. My mother was a water carrier for URP. And just that job alone, you know, helped her to mind her 4 kids. There, 5 kids was myself, my 3 other brothers, and my sister in Chumakak Laventil, a 2-bedroom apartment, my mother in 1 bedroom, and her 5 kids in the other bedroom. And, you know, never one day did she not try to put food on the table for her kids. But you see, Brother B, what's important to understand, right, is when my mother was trying to take care of us, she didn't really have other time to take care of other things. She really didn't care if the building was painted. She didn't care if the grass was high, because her main job was to put food on the table, put clothes on our backs, and to buy us school books in order to go to school. You know, so she was busy at work, busy at work. And Brother B, not one day did we ever go without a plate of food. We always had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In spite of living in that environment, my mother paid $12 a month rent, Brother B, and I never heard my mother complain. As a matter of fact, on the 9th of February, my mother will be 91 years of age, and she still lives here in Brooklyn. You know, very independent lady.
Great.
You know, so Brother B, it was not easy, but I have a quote, Brother B, that said, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. And growing up in Chumakak never deterred me from trying to be the best that I can be. And I always said, if I get an opportunity to be anybody, I will take 100% of that opportunity and to be somebody, not only that, but to inspire other people for a better tomorrow.
All right, tell me about some of the challenges that you were confronted with in Chumakak growing up with your siblings and friends that may have had other ideas of survival. Obviously, you were grateful to have had a mother who provided for you, but there were some who were not fortunate. Tell us about those challenges and what confronted you when you chose not to go to the latter, but to embrace have a better choice.
Well, Brother B, when you grow up in Chumakak Laventil, almost every day is a challenge.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it.
But what it is, Brother B, is that, I mean, back then, Brother B, the only thing you must see is that we had a guy who was one of the top weed pushers in Trinidad and Tobago, in Chumaca Clavato. So you will see people smoking weed, but they never try to encourage the youth to smoke weed. People doing other things, but they never encourage us to do those things. What they more push us to do is to play cricket or to play basketball or to play football. So I mean, it was challenging, but they never really tried to push us to do things that, what they are doing. So we basically we didn't have no role models, Brother B. I have to be honest with you, Brother B. Growing up all of my life, my role model was basically my mother.
Okay.
Because she was the one who was working hard. I was seeing her, being a water carrier on URP at that time it was called. So there were challenges, Brother B, but I think the challenges today are much difficult and much different. And the kids today can look at a person like me, coming out of Chumaca Clavantel, Brother B, going on to Seton Hall University, getting a track and field scholarship, going on to work 23 years on Wall Street, and then going on to be a professor at Seton Hall University. But Brother B, not only that, right? As I said, the quote says your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Never let your circumstance determine your future. You have to decide your future on your own. Don't
Very
let
good.
other people decide your future,
All right.
right? In spite of your circumstances.
All right. So let's go now from. All right. So right. So you survived that period of your life. You went to what secondary school you went to in Trinidad, and let's come to the track and field scholarship that you won. And was that took you out of Trinidad and Tobago? So tell us.
No, Brother B, that's a great story. I went to the first junior secondary school in Trinidad, Diego Martin Junior Sec. So imagine, Brother B, a person from Chumaca Claventil have to leave Chumaca Claventil and go to Diego Martin Junior Sec, all the way down to Diego Martin, right? And after attending Diego Martin for maybe a year or so, they built Barataria Junior Sec. So I was moved to Barataria Junior Sec. And most of the times, I had to walk from Chumakak to Barataria and walk back from Barataria to Chumakak. I couldn't walk to Diego Martin, so I used to go out on the main road and mopper drop. You say mopper drop to Port of Spain, and then take a bus to Diego Martin Junior Secondary School. And after I finished Barataria Junior Sec, Barata, Brother B, it appears that I didn't pass coming in, didn't pass to go into a government secondary school. But as you know, I have a last name Libon, right? Libon could be a French Creole, right? A French person from, different parts of Trinidad. So I ended up at Tranquility Government Secondary School for 2 years. So people who I knew, when I was in Form 1 or was in high school, and they may have went on to Tranquility, I met them after 3 years going to junior secondary school. So you see, it's not where you start, Brother B, is where you end up.
Excellent.
So after attending Tranquility Government Secondary School from 1975 to 1977, my mother left Trinidad in 1975 to come to the United States of America. So she left her 4 kids in Chumaca Clavantel. I had one sister and she passed away, before my mother left to come to the United States. So she came to the United States in 1975. And after 2 years of being in the States, she applied for us to come to America, and in 1977, all 4 of us got visas, to come to the United States of America through my parents. Now, most people think that I left Trinidad on a track and field scholarship. I never left Trinidad on a track and field scholarship. I left Trinidad through Macac, through the efforts of my mother, who came to the United States, and she had another son who was already in the United States of America. So that's how I came to America. And so, Brother B, we landed at JFK Airport on July 4th, 1977, me and my 3 other siblings with 1 suitcase, Brother B, and no money in our pocket. Let me repeat that. In July 4th, 1977, we landed at John F. Kennedy Airport with our 1 suitcase, my 3 other siblings, and no money in our pocket. Right? Now, my other brother Selwyn, he was the bigger one. You know, he was the one that kind of taken us through the journey through Laventille, through Chumakak and so on. You know, he was actually a tailor. You know, so he had a little bit of money in his pocket, but, you know, we really didn't have anything. So we landed in JFK, Brother B, and I was 18 years of age at that time. And I personally had to decide, what am I going to do with my life, Brother B? So I decided I was going to go back to high school for 1 year. Now, Brother B, think about this, right? I'm 18 years of age. I'm going back to high school. I am the oldest person in the high school, right? So normally what they will call you is a super senior, because you're not supposed to be in high school. You're supposed to be in college. But I had to take that opportunity to try to get a track and field scholarship because my mother couldn't afford half a credit for me to go to college. And Brother B, it was one of the best things that I ever did in life.
Very good. So after you got this scholarship, obviously track and field took up a very significant part of your school, of your life during that period. So let's transition from getting the scholarship, and of course, let's talk about the success as a track athlete in school, or was it university where you got? And when did you go to university, or did you go at all? So tell us about the track and field aspect of your life and how it affected or catapult you into the person you are.
Okay, so Brother B, so I attended Boys and Girls High School in Brooklyn, New York. I started there in September 1977, and my main goal was to acquire an athletic scholarship. So I had 1 year, Brother B, to get a track and field scholarship, because if this doesn't work out, Brother B, I don't know where my life would be. I don't know where I would end up. So that 1 year, I basically dedicated myself to two things. I call it the double A's, athletics and academics. That's all my focus was on, Brother B, nothing else. And being there, after about a few months in the Boys and Girls High School track team, I started to get really good. And school started to offer me scholarship. I remember, Brother B, the first scholarship I was offered was to Eastern Michigan, right? And I asked one of the friends on the team, I said, hey, how cold it is in Michigan? He said, boy, it get 15 degrees below zero. I said, wait, now, boy. I didn't know temperature go below zero. I said, nah, Eastern Michigan out of the question. So anyway, Seton Hall University, Coach John Moon, who is still the coach, and I am his assistant. I didn't mention that, Brother B. I'm also his assistant right now, right? And he wanted a kid who was in the high school team. He was the best 400-meter runner in the country, named Brian Denman. And the coach in the high school told him, well, look, if you want Brian Denman, you got to take Anselm Born, because Anselm Born I was good, but I wasn't that good. So Coach Moon decided, you know what? I want this other guy. I will take Anselm Born, and maybe after a year or so, I will get rid of him. And Brother B, he didn't understand that I was going to be one of the first ones in my family to attend college. So I was not going to let that happen. But Brother B, I have to tell you, things got so good at Seton Hall University that as a junior, I was named captain of the track team, you know, and for 2 years, this little black boy from Chumaka, Claventille, was the captain of a track team, you know, coming from basically zero, you know, to hero. So that's the part with the scholarship, Brother B. I attended Seton Hall from 1978 to 1982.
All right, what we'll do, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we transition from there onto Wall Street, and they will tell us about the jobs that you had to do before you reached there, the New York Stock Exchange, and there's where, you know, I think we'll talk about that and how you got to that. All right, so see you after the break, Mr. LeBold.
All right, Brother B, thank you.
And roofing specialist. We specialize in awnings, umbrellas, roofing, and retractable awnings. We also offer car rental services. Call us today, awning and roofing specialist at 704-8024, and for our Tobago office 319-3040. Find us on Facebook, awning and roofing specialist.
Paying your Trico cable bill just got easier. Simply log on to www.tricott.com and choose online payment, or log into your online banking, RBL, FCB or Scotiabank, and add Trico as a pay. Yep, It's that easy. No stress, no more hassle, no more long lines. Just pure relaxation and social distancing from the comfort of your space. For more information, contact 639-4457 or log on to www.tricott.com. Trico Industries Limited. We are here for you.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
Tune in to Spot On. A new episode premieres every Tuesday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Channel 5.
Greetings in the name of Jesus Christ, our soon and coming King. I am Minister Cassandra Powder, here to encourage you to dare to be different. Think the unthinkable, for we serve a God that has no limits, no boundaries. It's time to elevate.
Our viewers on Facebook and our supporters, we are thankful, and of course those of you listening on Pulse 89.5 FM, we're indeed thankful. Okay, so we are continuing our story, our success story of individuals who would have left these shores and would have made it successful. The intent of this program is to influence those young minds who think there's no other option. And so you would have heard from Mr. Eugene Julian yesterday was Diane Benskin, and her story really touched people in terms of from our emotional standpoint. And now we have Mr. Anselm Labor, Professor Anselm Labor. His father is from Tobago. He grew up in Chumakak, and his story is a wonderful one. All right, so let's get into it, Mr. Labor. The whole question of the transitioning from university, obviously a track and field scholarship. Let's go into the world of work for you. And before that, though, I normally take this opportunity to allow you, the person who is telling the story, to speak directly to the young people. You quoted a quote, some that might fly over some people's head, but I want you to speak directly. If you come from Laventille during that era and made it, tell the young man who is looking on in Tobago, who feels the only option is crime, and there are other options. Speak to us.
You know, Brother B, I have to say, right, growing up in Chumakak, Laventille, you know, this quote always stuck with me. Your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Let me repeat that. Your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. And another quote, Brother B, that's very relevant is hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. You see, Brother B, there were many things that I could look at from a negative perspective. I could look at things and say things are hopeless, you know, but I got rid of the less and I put full next to it. I said things are hopeful. You know, I also said that many people said things are impossible, Brother B, but impossible also spells I am possible. You know, so the youths out there, there's a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt that says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You know, don't let other people, you know, try to decide your fate and take you down the wrong road. You know, because you have a talent, Brother B. You have a talent in everything. For example, Brother B, just now cruise ships are going to be coming back into Tobago. You can start a little t-shirt business, Brother B, with 20 t-shirts. 20 t-shirts at $10 US a t-shirt is $200. 200 US times 650, you know, it's about $1,300. So just think about this, Brother B. If 3 cruise ships comes in Tobago on a daily basis and you are able to sell 20 t-shirts at $10 US each t-shirt, right? You could be making over $3,000 to $4,000 a week easily. You know, so that's one of the ways where you could put your talents into. If you are a plumber, Brother B, you always need a plumber. If you are an electrician, if you're going to get into electrician, you always need an electrician. So there are many avenues that people can go into. And Brother B, if you're involved in sports, if you're involved in basketball, if you're involved in swimming, if you're involved in track and field, if you're involved in hockey, there is many scholarships out there, that you can acquire right there from Tobago. And Brother B, I would like to, based on this discussion here, I would actually like to establish the Tobago to Wall Street Scholarship Foundation.
What?
That we can take the Tobago to Wall Street Scholarship Foundation.
You want to establish and set that up? Given
Yes,
that
the
this...
Tobago.
Okay, tell me why you want to do that, Wall Street. And this is breaking news, and we are indeed grateful to hear you announcing that. All right, why is it necessary in your view?
Because, Brother B, I want the kids to realize that here is this little black boy from Chumaka, Claventil, was able to go from Chumaka to Wall Street. He was able to move on from Chumaka and go and work 23 years at the New York Stock Exchange, right? The place that's the financial capital of the world. So I'm telling these kids, Brother B, that nothing is impossible. As I said, impossible spells I am possible. And Brother B, I want to say this, Brother B, and I'm not getting into politics here, and this is not the opinion of Tobago Channel 5. Brother B, we have two transformational leaders in the last decade coming out of Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunate for Tobago, those two transformation leaders have came out of Tobago. The first transformation leader is a gentleman by the name of Watson Solomon Duke, who is the leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots. About 5 years ago, the PDP started from 0 to 2 to 6 to 14. That is transformational when you look at it. Secondly, Brother B, the other person is Fali Chavez Acostin, the Chief Secretary of Tobago. And why he's such a transformational leader is because he decided to take Tobago off the plantation with respect to the residents of Tobago. When they go to our THA office, so to speak, they have to dress up. He took them off the plantation. And when you're doing things like that, Brother B, you become a transformational leader.
Okay, all right, let's go now to, I just share, because this is so critical, the financial capital of the world, Wall Street. You worked there for 23 years. How did it happen for you to get in the first place? And I think that you've worked at executive level. Tell us how you got in and the role and talk to us about the role that you played there.
Well, Brother B, it was very simple, right? When I graduated from Seton Hall University, I went on to get, another degree then. And I decided that I wanted to work at the New York Stock Exchange. Remember I said that your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. And Brother B, I want to also leave something else for the kids in Tobago there. There is something called a SMART acronym, Brother B. S means specific, M is measurable, A is achievable, R is realistic, and T is timely. So I want most of the youth of Tobago to implement what's called the SMART acronym in your life, in your goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. I think that's very important in order for you to achieve anything. Now, Brother B, back to the Wall Street thing, right? When I left school, I decided that I want to work on Wall Street. So I actually started at the New York Mercantile Exchange. That's where you talk about commodities, you talk about oil and so forth. I worked there 2 years. And after working there 2 years, I said, my goal is to work on Wall Street. So, Brother B, I simply sent a resume to the New York Stock Exchange. And I was so confident in myself. Because remember, I said hard work beats talent when talent does not work. Confident. I sent a resume. They called me in for an interview. I went to the interview. I blew the thing out of the water. And the rest is history.
All right. So, all right. Where did you, of course, 23 years, it means that you could start as a junior. I am using those terms. And then you became a senior executive. I don't know what the term is, but I'm pointing it to that direction.
Principal market analyst.
All right. So that's the highest? That's the highest position?
Right. So what it is, Brother B, is that I work in the 5 largest departments at the New York Stock Exchange. I worked in the enforcement department. I work in market surveillance. I work in specialist surveillance. I worked in regulatory quality review. And Brother B, in regulatory quality review, there was about a 2 or 3 person department. And we had to go across the New York Stock Exchange and review those departments. I was one of the persons was going and dealing with, it doesn't matter who it is. And I was telling them, Brother B, these are the things you have to do because we want to keep the New York Stock Exchange out of trouble. We don't want the Securities and Exchange Commission to come into the New York Stock Exchange and say we are not doing what we're supposed to do. So, Brother B, I worked at the 5 largest departments within the New York Stock Exchange, 23 years of my life. And I'm very, very proud of that, Brother B. And
Excellent.
I'm saying to the youth, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do this. It's all possible.
Very good. And we are proud of you too, Wall Street. When I first got to know you on another frequency, and we would refer to you, in fact, your nickname was Wall Street because you worked there. And of course, I was told, and I always wanted to know how that was possible, given where you came from and so on. But however, you told us the story and we understand quite well. And we are indeed proud that you would have achieved that. And we are glad to have you this morning to share with all the minds who are listening who may think that you can't make it. And of course, I like the expression that you gave that impossible also means I am possible. All right, if there's anything I have to take away. Yeah?
I want to add something, and I know we're getting close to the end. There's 3 books I want the people of Tobago, especially the youths, to read, Brother B. And if they can get it, they can contact me at wallstreettrini@gmail.com. That's wallstreettrini@gmail.com. Or you can also contact me at anselm@WZYEFM.com.
All right.
Anselm@WZYEFM.com. The 3 books, Brother B.
Yeah.
The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David Schwartz. And Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. Let me quickly repeat that. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David Schwartz. And The Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. Because, Brother B, you have to have a positive mindset. You have to think big, and that you can be very successful.
All right. So let me just go back to when you said you're offering a scholarship, the Wall Street Scholarship. Give us the proper title because we want to have this in the news later on, and we will contact you. So you can't come here and bluff. Don't bluff on Rise and Shine. We're going to pull you up. So we're following you up. So just repeat.
When we from Chumaca, you don't bluff when you're from Chumaca, Brother B. You know what I mean?
All right. So
it's
just
real thing, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just teasing. But let's get serious now.
Brother B, let me say this, Brother B.
Yeah.
Previously, I came to Tobago to establish this,
Okay.
But there was a different party in power then.
Okay.
We have a new party in power now, and I know with transformational leaders, they have transformational ideas. So
okay. All right. So
100.
we will hear more about it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So all right. So we're not getting into details now.
The Tobago to Wall Street Scholarship Foundation. That's what it's called. And to all the people of Tobago, we want to implement the Tobago to Wall Street Scholarship Foundation in Tobago for all the youths, whether you are good in even American football, right? If you could run fast, you could be a wide receiver or you could be a cornerback. In track and field, if you are good in track and field, if you are good in football, if you are good in basketball, if you are good in tennis, we want to have thousands and thousands of Tobagonians. And Brother B, not only in athletics, but if in academics as well. We want you to be able to do very well on the SAT and the ACT, so you can get academic scholarships to go to colleges in the United States of America.
All right, so it means therefore you have to send your scouts, or you yourself would come and examine or look at the talents in track.
Brother B, as 51% Tobagonian, you know?
and the other 49 is Trinidadian. All right, good. You're on your own with that. Yeah? But anyway,
the other 49 is Trinidadian.
Yeah. So you will come to Tobago obviously and do the scouting, right?
Yeah, no, what it, Brother B, I will come to Tobago. The last time, Brother B, I was in Tobago to do it. I don't want to call no names, but I was in Tobago to do it, Brother B. This is years ago. This is not something that I just come up with, but now that, we have a new dispensation in Tobago, and I want to say that they are very transformational in their thinking, Brother B. And Brother B, one other thing, I heard the deputy chief mention something called foreign direct investment. Brother B, that is a game changer for Tobago. Let me repeat it. Brother B, I teach global business, and foreign direct investment is very important. But we're going to leave it there for now, Brother B.
All right.
But that's a game changer in
All right.
Tobago.
Okay. All right. Well, so we'll keep in touch, and really, I'm really happy that you shared your story, and of course, we are going to. Well, of course, we follow up on that scholarship that you, you are going to set up here, and we look forward to that. I want to thank you again, my good friend, and all the good blessings to you. And it was indeed a pleasure, and so much we learned this morning. Thank you, sir.
Brother B, thank you so much. And before I go again, Brother B, I want to say to the youths of Tobago, right, in the words of Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And secondly, your circumstances may determine who you are, but you are responsible for who you become. Brother B, have a fantabulous, splendiferous, marvelous, tremendous rest of the day.
All right, thank you, sir. And of course, my good friend, Wall Street, of course,
right.
aka Wall Street, and of course, it's Anstem Labor, Professor Anstem Labor, and he's professor of the Seton Hall University, and of course, they worked 23 years on Wall Street, and a son of the soil, so to speak. That would have represented us well, and we want to thank you, sir. And it was indeed a pleasure. All right, at this point in time, we go for news, and when we come back, lots more. After we go for record.